Hello and welcome to week 5 here in sociology and technology, and we're going to be looking at chapter 5, housing. Now, this video is coming out a little late, so people are already participating in the discussion. It's really cool. Looking at the technology involved in providing shelter and how that has evolved over the history of our civilizations, and different building materials and how those have shaped the way in which we perceive of home and the social nature of housing and whatnot. So we have two discussions. The first is looking at your own personal housing history, whether you lived in a house, a mobile home, or maybe even experienced homelessness or periods of transitional housing or lived in dorms or different kinds of situations like that, having a discussion about your own experiences and what constituted the idea of home. How does that actually resonate in you as an individual now? And then in the chapter, we start looking at, as civilizations have always done, looking at concepts of housing, communal living, the whole concept of that structure called the line, or the different kinds of housing situations that can be involved. There was one time me and the mother of my children were considering joining a communal living situation here in Maine. I think it was going to be in Reedfield, and it was a circle of buildings that were going to be built. Each family had about 800 square feet worth of living space, because the kitchen, dining room, entertainment areas were all communal in the middle. And it was actually a really kind of interesting idea. It actually never got off the ground. But the concept came from a theory of communal living that was in um, Norway. The person that was leading it up had brought that idea over here, and like I said, it never launched. So there wasn't enough investors and whatnot, and luckily no one lost money or anything. It was a very positive experience, even though it didn't come about. But it was an interesting look at a reflection at that time is how much space do we need, and how much of that space needs to be private, and how much can be communal. And it was quite a challenge just to be thinking about that kind of experience. So looking at these different kinds of ideas about how we can live and where we can live and the structures that we live in, how technology shapes those things literally in terms of the shapes of houses, and what square houses versus round houses versus pyramidal houses, whatever, those kinds of things, all shaped by the materials that we use to build them, all in which to encapsulate ultimately within the present, within the context of sociology, is where family is. And in those communal living situations, there's this a different sense of family about who was kin. And so very, very interesting ideas to consider. So I look forward to even more of these discussions. I've already been reading them, and great output on them. And so enjoy this chapter. I will see you online, and take care.